Hello everybody and welcome to hopefully the first of many videos I'm going to call Advanced Glitch Building. This one's going to teach you all how I've done a very small sphere of pretty much any item, well literally any item that you want. First you just make a 32-sided circle, which hopefully by this point anybody watching this video knows how to do. The reason that I chose 32 sides is because if you do any more than that, everything is built inside of each other after you do the final step, which is the universal adjacency glitch or the KAA glitch. And it blends so much inside of each other that you can't really tell what the objects are. So I think 64 is way too many, 128 is definitely way too many, and 16, 8, and 12, and 24 are just not enough. So 32 seems to be about the perfect number. So once you do that, you do this perfectly horizontal too, by the way. You want to save these exterior points like this, like I'm doing around the outside. You only want to save half of them though. Actually, you only need to save 15 of them because you're going to use these as references to rotate your center point once we flip it 90 degrees on its axis. And you'll see what I mean here in a moment. The reason that we do that is because there's really no reason to build any pieces of the actual finished product, the actual finished sphere, on the horizontal plane, because you can just build them all vertical and rotate to the next, 11.25 degrees or whatever it is, and do it again and again and again, and you'll get the exact same effect as if you made one horizontally. So once you finish that, you flip your center point 90 degrees so it's on its side, and then you build another 32-sided circle. This time I'm using the, as you can see, the small pavings. I did this because I think this is the iteration that I was making a sphere out of. I don't remember. I think it was either the cave cones or the little globes, something like that. And this is what I determined the right radius from the center to be. But full disclosure, for the proximity switches, it's going to be a different radius to get them close enough together to make it look like a solid sphere, and I'll show you that here in a moment. But what you're going to want to do is find whatever your radius is that you want for whatever object it is that you want to make a tiny little sphere out of, and then build out a circle of 32 whatever, and then you're going to save and flip those inside points horizontally like this. You reverse wire glitch from a short wall at the bottom of it, pull to the center, then reverse a wire glitch to that point that you just made from above it, and you'll have perfectly level snap points, always facing away from the center of your circle. So anything that you snap into those points or adjacency glitch into points that you've saved there is going to be facing outside. Once you get all of that done 7.5 weeks later, you're then going to need to save those points, which I'll talk about here in a second. Here I'm showing you the technique I used to actually do the proximity switch sphere, which is a little bit different. It's just a 32-sided circle in the center made of the large pavings, and then you do the exact same process, except you don't have to adjacency from large to small floors. You just surround it with large floors, and then do the same process with the short walls, the full-length short walls, all the way around it. And then we'll go to the next step, which is exactly the same no matter what you're using the sphere, or using to make the sphere. So you have all the points. Then you need to save these points because you're going to be rotating this circle you've made here another 15 times. So you need to save these points because you're going to bring these spot back with these short floors, or whatever piece you're most comfortable with. I use the short floors in this example. So you build them out, then you make your circle, and then you rotate your center point to the next spot on that ring that you've made out of the 15 points. Then you repeat the process another 15 times, which is the second most time-consuming part about this whole process. And you'll see why I say the second most here in a moment. So here we are after about 7.5 years of work. And I've got all 15 circles that you need. And you can see here that I have not pulled and saved the top 3 points and the bottom 3 points for half of them because you don't need them. They're so close together that you're just wasting parts in your base. You go from around 1,000 pieces to about down to 700 some odd pieces if you do not do half of the very top points and a majority of the second tier points all the way around. So now what you do, and this is by far the one thing that takes the longest in this process, is you build back what you have saved with all of your floor pieces or whatever you decided to use, and then you adjacency glitch, universal adjacency glitch, or cache glitch, whatever you want to call it, whatever part it is that you want to put and make your sphere out of. I'll just use proximity switches here because that seems to be what everybody thinks is the coolest looking, which obviously it is. You have to be extra careful with this, and the reason that it takes a lot of time is you're going to want to save a lot, especially with some of the decorations, proximity switches not excluded. The biggest issue is if you accidentally mess up the universal adjacency glitch and place the wooden floor or whatever it is you're using instead of actually doing the glitch and placing the item that you're making the sphere out of. You cannot remove that piece without also taking with it some of the proximity switches, which is very much bad. You'll lose days worth of work if you do that and then accidentally save or something like that. So don't do that. Save about every 2 or 3 that you do, or if you want to be super anal like me, save after every single one that you do. And then eventually, about 12 to 12 and a half years later, you will finish everything that you have built up. You can do this with, of course, any item in the game. I've made one right here out of the little spinny globe things. Looks pretty cool, gives a nice effect. I made one here out of the new item, whatever they are, the little glowy planted pots. And here's the one that I was making during this tutorial, the cave cone, whatever the heck they're called. Now, you don't have to use this technique in order to get a tiny little sphere of certain items. I use this technique because I think it's the easiest, especially with items that have other snap points on them, like the proximity switch or the EMF tower, stuff like that. If you try and make a sphere of just snap points you've saved, there's just too many close together, and eventually you cannot see what you're doing, which makes it impossible. So that's why I developed this technique, and using the universal adjacency glitch means you can put anything you want there. It is a little bit more time consuming, but it actually is possible to do in game. So that means no mods, no Blender, no anything. Anybody on any platform can do this. Hope you guys enjoy, and show me what you guys make with it.